If you're new, click subscribe. If you're returning, appreciate you. Come along for the journey as we do another travel kind of video where we're going beyond the lower mainland of Canada here. Lower mainland pertaining to British Columbia. So we're gonna go somewhere where it has a nice picturesque view, widely known as beautiful, and yeah, we'll kind of discover and get our first impressions to see what we think of the destination. We'll be doing a lot of food reviews naturally, and do some sightseeing, and just get a nice little kind of journey from our day-to-day here. So stay tuned, let's go. Folks, so at the airport now, let's do a quick check-in. I believe my gate is D71, so last time I just got out of security, so just gonna jet to the gate. We have essentially like an hour, so just gonna hang tight and go from there. You can take a look at customs. It's dead right now. Just passed through the gates. Gonna board the plane. Let's get our seat. Enjoy this Air Mexico in-flight service and go from there.
Aeroméxico les da la más cordial bienvenida. Para hacer su abordaje y vuelo más cómodo, favor de ocupar sus asientos evitando aglomeraciones en las diferentes áreas del avión. El equipaje de mano deberá ser colocado debajo del asiento frente a ustedes o en los compartimentos superiores, optimizando los espacios para que otros pasajeros puedan acomodar sus pertenencias.
Do a quick video of
Aeromexico welcomes you aboard. To make your boarding process and the entire flight experience.
So this is the in-flight snack session. It's like a ham sandwich, cheese, yogurt, and 3 fruits: melon, pineapple, and watermelon. They're so good. We're in Mexico City. We're gonna take the shuttle right now. Second flight, headed to Sao Paulo now. So flight from Mexico City to Sao Paulo. We got I want to say like maybe 5 more hours. Actually no, it's 9 o'clock right now, so 7 more hours. This is the in-flight food: chicken, beans, just like bread, grape juice as well. Flight, just gonna disembark. You have to hop on these buses here, shuttles, so just jet. Time to chill out. Just leaving the terminal now, heading to the 258 bus stop. So I'm gonna try and find it. I think I need to cross and go from there. I might ask for an information desk, but I believe all these are just taxi cabs and such. So I'm to make a secondary video on my experience of the airport travel from the major airport to the like internal one. So outside of the terminal, you literally just walk outside and you're taken to this little bus station here. And yeah, it's only 40 reals as of September 2023 to do an airport transfer. So it's not too shabby. After you pay, they put a sticker on your luggage to prove that you paid. And it's roughly like an hour and a half. So 40 reals. Essentially the GPS, it's like 9 stops and it takes like an hour 30. Thank goodness I have like, I landed at 6, getting out of like security and such was like an hour. And then thereafter, so it's 7 o'clock right now, coming up. This bus departs on the hour, so 6:56, 7:56, 8:56. So if I miss this one, then I get pretty much delayed by an hour. But yeah, it's like an hour and a half to get there. Total transfer time I have to switch airports is 5 hours. So I was thinking of getting off, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be like a $13 charge to get back on, and don't want to cut it too close, but yeah, so we're just gonna chill out, wait for this bus to come through. Should be here soon in like 6 minutes, and then we're pretty much smooth sailing from there. Stay tuned. Oh, it's cool about these seats. They're nice and soft. And we got a little thing to run here as well, which is nice. Let's just kick back our feet, relax, and go from there. We're here for the long haul, an hour and a half. We'll chill at the airport, I guess, and go from there. Stay tuned. I can already tell we're in a mega city. Just looking at some of these bridges and highways, it's like so massive and so much space to allow for traffic to and from. And now I believe we're on the express highway. So transfers, these are the hours, $14 roughly. Not too shabby. Seamless transfer if you are flying in and you're going to Rio, I wouldn't even bother with like an Uber or taxi. I don't even think you Uber from the airport actually. It's a big deal. So now just going to jet inside, chill out. Hopefully they have Wi-Fi. I'm gonna charge my phone. But the whole airport transfer, the seats were comfortable. Nobody got off at the intermittent stops as well. I was thinking of doing it just to see like the cathedral or the Japanese town, but didn't want to risk it. I mean, like, it's better that I just like relax here, just because walking from the bus stop to those areas, it's quite some time, and I know myself, I'll probably just get wrapped up in photos and such. So what I'll do is I'll find the terminal and go from there, where my gate is. So at Casa Pau de Queijo, so they got this menu here for their items. They have tilapia, I believe like beef, fettuccine, stroganoff, chicken, beef, and fettuccine. And if you add just for the drink, 3 real on top, and if you want cookies as well, 8. So this meal is like 14 bucks roughly. I would say it's similar to that of White Spot. They also have fraps here as well. Reminds me a lot like Starbucks. Anyways, this meal is at a chain, like I said, 45, and adding a drink on top, it's 3 real here. So we're just waiting. They give you this number and it buzzes after it's ready. So we'll kind of take it one step at a time. I would say the meal itself is yeah, it's like 45. I mean, like for a sit-down situation, that's pretty reasonable. It's like $14. So we'll kind of just hang tight and go from there. Stay tuned. Country fillet, steak here, rice, beans, mash, and I don't know what this is. Pepsi in the morning, can't complain. It's sharp. This isn't a legit Brazilian steak, but whatever. I think I got duped. Airplane food. I mean, like it's like a chain restaurant. Brazil is like Vietnam. They're all about their Pepsi. It's very sharp. You can already tell Brazil, they like to have a nice composition of their meals. I would honestly say a good mix with a bunch of stuff. I really like that shredded instance, like I think it's like corn. I'll have to check and see. My instant regret is getting Pepsi in the morning, but whew. So what I'll do is I'll recap my thoughts of Casa de Pau de Queijo. It's a chain. I would say it's like similar to like a mix between Starbucks and Denny's, because they got like sit down meals, but they also have like coffees and like baked goods. So they're kind of doing like the breakfast and like dinner sit down vibe. But I'll recap my thoughts of the country statement. I'll just do a recap review of that country's filet there I had. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty tough. It's like as tough, the texture like jerky. What brought the meal up a notch was the I think it's like milled corn or something like that, like grounded up corn. That was really good. I would give the meal a rating because it seems kind of on the expensive side for a sit down restaurant. It's like 48 reals, which is like 14 bucks or so. So I'll give it a solid 6. I don't want to give it like a 5. Maybe I should have got the chicken. Maybe I should have got the other dishes, but I'll leave it at that. And yeah, first meal, touchdown in Rio, but it's expected when you're at the airport here. Not the main airport, but the transfer one. Stay tuned. Here, recap review of flying from Canada to stopping in Mexico to Brazil, and also quick airplane food and restaurant review of Casa de Pau de Queijo. So in terms of like the flight from Vancouver to Brazil, so Canada's quite far from Brazil. If you're on the east coast of Canada, there are direct flights from Toronto to Brazil direct. From Vancouver, it was a very loopy process. I had to fly from Vancouver to Mexico City to Brazil, and it was a very interesting process as well because I flew Air Mexico, and what ultimately ended up happening is my boarding passes, like normally when you check in, they give you boarding passes for both legs. I was expecting it from Vancouver to Mexico and Mexico to Brazil, but oddly enough, it didn't generate for Mexico to Brazil. So I was kind of like frantically, like I think I had like an hour and a half layover time, and it didn't generate. So like they pulled me aside and things like that. So I'll be mindful in the future not to carry any liquids over 100 ml, because what ended up happening is Air Mexico didn't give me my boarding pass, so I had to be pulled on the side and exit out and have to go through security again. And thankfully, because it's like Mexico is like on the tier of Asia, they're very like loose with security. So like in Canada, if the lineup is really long, it could be like an hour, and and I had an hour and a half layover. You could be hooped. So in a situation like this, I got through security. I downloaded my new boarding pass, but it was quite stressful with Air Mexico because it wasn't one airline. Like I was flying with two airlines. Like I flew with Air Mexico for the first one, and then I flew with LATAM from Mexico City to Brazil. So that's why there was like an issue with releasing two boarding passes. It was ridiculous. But anyways, so the flight to get to Brazil, it was very long. I think it was like a 6-hour flight from Vancouver to Mexico City, and then an 8-hour flight from Mexico City to Brazil. And then on top of that as well, to go to Rio, because the major airport is in Sao Paulo. So the whole experience of just like, it's kind of far. I wish I was in Toronto, so it's a direct flight. It's easier. But I'm glad I got the experience of seeing how people live down there, Portuguese, etc. But yeah, the whole experience. So flying to Rio, like I flew from Sao Paulo to Rio, but I had to go from like the major airport to a mini airport, and then from that mini airport I flew in closer to the city center of Rio. It was a seamless kind of like airport shuttle. It was pretty straightforward. Like as you exit out of the airport, there's like a pretty obvious like bus transfer situation, and you can pay by like credit card, cash. So it was pretty chill. Yeah, in terms of like the airport food, the restaurant I went to was Casa de Pau de Queijo. I would probably get some other food. I ended up getting the steak. Brazil is known for their steaks, meats. I was thinking that this is going to be amazing, but yeah, it was like a very thin, dry, strip thin steak. Yeah, I was expecting it to be like very delicious, but I mean, like it's airport food, so it was whatever. I would give it like a solid 6. The sides were good. Um, Drinks are the same, but yeah, the strip of steak was so so. The whole ordeal of flying a lot, airport transfer seamless, and the airport food. I thought it was like the whole experience of it all. If I could play it back, I wish like the most ideal situation is a direct flight. I just prefer that much more. Having like I think one, two. I had 3 legs, so Vancouver to Mexico City, Mexico City to Sao Paulo. I had to do an airport transfer and then fly from Sao Paulo to Rio. So 3 flights, 1 airport transfer. It was just kind of like a lot of traveling, but it was well worth it. If I could recommend, I would probably prefer to do internal in Canada just because a little uneasy of doing airport transfers in countries I don't know the language, like Mexico City. Like I did study Spanish, but yeah, I mean like I can't converse properly. Same thing as well, like doing an airport transfer and like taking an airport transfer and going from airport to airport in Brazil was kind of a little tense, but it was a straightforward airport transfer. Yeah, I mean, like in general, the whole ordeal. If you live in Vancouver, I would recommend if you can to do a flight from Vancouver to Toronto and direct flight from Toronto to Sao Paulo. It would be way better because if you speak English, it's just more suitable. If you're Spanish speaking, Mexico City is a prime alternative. Uh, and yeah, I mean like there was other alternatives as well, like flying to like Dallas, like in Texas or Phoenix or like Miami, but I mean like the price wasn't right. I mean like ultimately I could have found like a flight that had like 2 stops potentially, but I mean like having 3 was kind of a lot. You live, you learn. It was a whole ordeal of traveling, but just thought I'd kind of show you all the experience. The food service in Latam and Air Mexico was like so-so. Nothing to brag about, but I mean like it's no frills, no gimmicks. I mean like flying with Air Canada, uh, it's they have really good food there. I would say they're like premier when it comes to service and food. Uh, Air Mexico was so-so. Latam Airlines, the food was so-so, and also just like that Brazilian like chain at the airport was it's a touch above average, but I mean like it could be better. Anyways, first video in Brazil. Sorry for rambling. Do enjoy the series, and if you haven't already, click subscribe and catch you in the next one.